Hi everybody, welcome to another lab session. In today's tutorial, we are going to learn cross-validation. Cross-validation is helpful for us to tune the hyperparameters and to figure out what is the proper number of features or what set of features is the best for our model building. So let's first import some libraries as before. And then this time, the data set we're going to use is still the Boston house price. And you can check the description of the Boston data here, so that you can check for each of the variable we use, what's the meaning of that. And then let's load this our pandas data frame to load our data as the Boston. And the first thing we're going to learn here is the train test split. So the reason we do train test split, we learned this before, is because we want to avoid overfitting. Right? We want to test what's the accuracy of our model. But to do that, we import. We import train test split from the scikit-learn model selection package. And here we use the random seed 47. The reason we do this is because when we split the data, we want every time we split the data, we want to keep the test part be the same. So that's why we need this random seed. And we set our X to be the Boston and the Boston data, and the Y as the target variable of the Boston data, which is the house price. And the train test split inside of this function, the first is the what feature, what X was split, what Y split, and the test size. Test size is what the ratio of your test data. So here is 0.1. Random state is 42. It means we want our test set to be fixed. And after that, we get X train, X test, Y train, and Y test. And let's use the linear model as an example. So here we build a linear regression model, and we fit our X train and Y train to get a first model. And use X test, use the prediction function of the linear model we built, fit in our X test to get the Y predict, and plot relationship between the true value of the Y and the prediction value of the Y. And we can see that the x-axis, the true values, and the x-axis are true values, y-axis are the predicted values. We can see the majority of our predictions are very good. For example, this doing the true data is 20, the predicted data is 20. 30, which is very good, but for some of the values, they are not good. For example, this one, the true price is a positive number, but our prediction is a negative number. And the best scenario is a straight line from 0 and to the degree of 45, because that means for each of the predictions, it's exactly the same as the true value of the price. And then to measure our accuracy, we need this RMSE. It's what we learned before. So we define function to calculate the RMSE, the rooted mean square error. Yeah, and the input are the actual Y and predicted Y, and then calculate the error between them. So this is the function. And yeah, and to calculate this RMSE, and we further input our Y train and Y predict. Sorry, this is the Y predict from our training data, and this is Y test and our Y predict from our test data, so that we can calculate the train error and the test error. We can see that the train error is higher than the test error, which is a good sign, because that means we don't have the overfitting problem. So if the train has the smaller error than the test, then that's the overfitting. So that means our model is good. And so let's now move on to overfitting. So in what scenario do we encounter overfitting? For example, is when we have so many features. You use feature engineering, create a lot of features, and then you use all of the features to train the model. And in that case, for your train data, that will perfectly fit because you have so many features. But when you have new data, like that's your test data, you still use that model, you'll find the error will be bigger and bigger. So to show you that, we first generate some features from our existing feature. We already have 13 features, and we add square root and the tangent for each feature. So we will have totally 52 features for our model. And this is the for loop, how we create features. So for example, this is the square root, and square root here, and the tangent. And then we can check the head of our data. Now you can see we have 52 columns. That's all the feature we used. We started from 13, and because we generated data, generated features, now we have 52 features. And we redo our train test split and generate the test error and the train error like before. And now we can see that the train error is only 3.26, but the test error is 5.17, which means we're encountering overfitting. Yeah, because the test error is significantly higher than the train error, which is not a good sign. Yeah, and the reason is because we generated too many features, and that causes overfitting. That make the model too complicated, too complex. That's results in overfitting. So to understand what is the proper number of features with the plot. So here, what we do is we append train error and test error in a for loop. Inside of this for loop, this n, it starts from 1 to 52. So it records the number of features we use. So for each number of features we use, we build a linear regression, and we calculate their train error and test error. And finally, we append all of these errors and then plot it in the plot. And let's see. Yeah, so here is the final result. We can see that with the increase of the number of features, at start, the test error is relatively small. But when it goes up to like 13, 14 something, the test error increased dramatically. That means after we add features, the test error increased a lot. So here is the point that this is the number of features we should adopt. because that has the lowest test error. That's what I want. And we can see that after we increase the number of features, the test error increases dramatically. So that's the reason. Okay, so this is just a plot, but as a data scientist, we need to use some way to calculate what is the appropriate number of features. So to do that, we need to apply cross-validation. So cross-validation, so here's a very good picture to show what is cross-validation. First, this is all of our data. We first do train and test split. And we keep the test here and don't use that. And instead of the train, we further split it into train and validate data. And the cross-validation means for each part in this train, we make it the validation data and use the rest of the train to be the train data set. And we keep doing that. So you can see this plot here. The red square means our validation data set, and the blue part are the train data. So we keep changing our validation and train data and use that to calculate the errors for each number of features. And then we calculate the smallest error and use that number of features to be our final model's number of features, and then test the accuracy inside of the test data set. So to do this, we first define the compute cross-validation error function, and we need to import the k-fold, which is the cross-validation function from the secondary model selection, and the k-fold is to the unsplitting to 4. So that means we want the cross-validation, we want 4 validation data set, and create a validation error list. And for each validation data set, we calculate, we fit the data into the linear model and calculate the error and keep the append error into this validation errors and return this error. So this is the function we use. It can help us to get all of the errors with each number of features. And then for each number of features, we keep cross-validate the error. That's why for n in the range of number of features, we keep call the compute cross-validation error and calculate the mean of the error. And then we print this error to see what are the errors. So this is the list of errors we generated from here. So that means this is the no features error. We have 1 features error, 1 feature error, 2 feature errors, 3 feature error, until the 52 features error. We keep record this and find the minimum one is 6.26, and the reflected number of features is 13. So now we know the number of the 13 features is are the best for model, and the validation error, the mean validation error is 6.26. And then we use these certain features to finally test our model here. So we use certain features to do this, to calculate the RMSE. And we calculate that the train RMSE is 4.76. The k-fold validation error and the test error. Now we can see that test error is smaller than train error, which is a good sign because we are not facing the overfitting problem. And finally, to test if our model is valid enough, we plot its residual. So the residual means for each of the predictions we make, with prediction minus the true value. It can be positive, negative, or zero. So this is the that gap. This is the residual. So we can see that all of our residuals are around zero, and it has a fixed standard deviation. It's a good sign because after we get our model, we want the error to be a normal distribution with zero mean and a fixed standard deviation. So that means our model is good. Yeah, so the residual. Yeah, the residual is good enough for our model. So, okay, that's everything for today's lesson. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.